Have you ever wondered what it feels like when every breath you take is a step closer to death? Welcome to New Delhi, a place where breathing is no longer an instinct, but a survival challenge.
Delhi is choking under its worst air this season, a thick blanket of toxic smog.
Delhi's overall air quality index has improved to 349.
Out of the 100 most polluted city in 2024, 94 are in India. The AQI scale was only designed to stop at 500, but Delhi shattered that limit, peaking at a staggering 1,700. Children who have never touched a cigarette have lungs as damaged as a 40-year chain smoker. Just breathing here is equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes a day. A child born in Delhi today will lose an average of 10 years of their life. We aren't just talking about the environment, we're talking about a silent death sentence for an entire generation. But why is a future superpower letting this happen? Why does the same amount of emissions lead to a much worse catastrophe in Delhi than anywhere else? Look at the topographical map. Delhi doesn't sit on an open plain. It's nestled inside a massive geographical bowl. To the north, it's blocked by the 8,000-meter wall of the Himalayas, preventing any airflow from escaping. When winter arrives, a silent killer called temperature inversion appears. Normally, warm air carrying pollution rises and disperses. But in Delhi during winter, a layer of warm air sits on top of the cold air near the ground. It acts exactly like a pot lid, trapping all the fine dust, exhaust fumes, and toxic gases right at people's noses. Imagine the space you have to breathe being strangled tenfold. In summer, pollution can escape to an altitude of 1,000 meters. But in winter, this mixing height collapses to just 100 meters. The same amount of toxins, but the concentration is now 10 times denser because there's nowhere left for it to go. These PM 2.5 particles, 30 times smaller than a human hair, go straight into your bloodstream, destroying your body from within. It doesn't stop there. The topography brings more bad news. Winter winds sweep dust from the dark desert and industrial emissions from neighboring states, dumping everything into the heart of this bowl. Delhi doesn't just produce its own pollution. Its geography turns it into a black hole that attracts all the toxins from northern India. Inside that tightly compressed geographical prison, Delhi is poisoning itself with a massive volume of vehicles. With over 12 million registered cars, this number is larger than Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata combined. Vehicles are not just transport. They are 12 million mobile chimneys, pumping toxins directly into the air 24/7. But the truth is even worse than what the naked eye sees from the exhaust. A term few people mention is resuspended dust. For every kilometer a vehicle travels, it doesn't just emit smoke. It wears down tires and brakes, kicking up 10 to 15 grams of dust from the road surface. Even if every car turned electric, Delhi would still drown in dust if the streets are not cleaned. Complicit with traffic is the construction industry. Every day, construction sites here generate up to 6,850 tons of waste. By law, sites must be shrouded in green netting and sprayed with water to suppress dust. However, in reality, the compliance rate is less than 30%. Contractors' profits are being traded for the very breath of the citizens. Surrounding the city are thousands of traditional brick kilns and massive landfills that are constantly smoldering. They pump a terrifying amount of SO2 and NO2 into Delhi's geographical bowl. When traffic, construction, and industry simultaneously exhale smoke into a tightly compressed space, disaster is inevitable. While traffic and construction have already stifled the air, the final punch comes from the fields. Every November, about 35 million tons of crop residue are burned in less than 2 weeks in the states surrounding Delhi. This isn't an act of sabotage, but a grim choice for survival made by the farmers. Why do they burn? The answer lies in a policy misstep aimed at preserving groundwater. In India, especially in states like Punjab and Haryana, the government banned farmers from planting rice too early. The idea was to stop them from pumping huge amounts of groundwater during the dry season and instead wait for the monsoon rains. In short, the policy was meant to protect groundwater reserves that were being severely depleted. Farmers were forced to delay their planting schedule, leaving them with just 10 to 20 days to clear their fields for the next crop. Burning stubble is the only, fastest, and cheapest way for them to avoid missing the planting window. These massive plumes of smoke drift with the seasonal winds, falling straight into Delhi's geographical bowl and getting trapped by temperature inversion. On peak days, stubble burning contributes up to 40% of the PM 2.5 in the capital's air. A vast amount of chemicals and toxic gases from residual pesticides also travel directly into the lungs of millions. The government tries to issue bans, even jail time, but farmers are too large a voting bloc for politicians to act firmly. Instead of investing in machinery to process stubble, all parties choose to blame each other, letting the fires erupt year after year. When disaster strikes and public pressure mounts, another battle begins. The war of numbers. Instead of joining forces to clean the sky, all parties start to weaponize scientific reports to shift the blame. Look at this chaos. The Safar agency claims transport accounts for 41% of Delhi's pollution. However, IIT Kanpur presents a completely different figure. Transport only accounts for 25%, while the real culprit is road dust at over 60%. This discrepancy isn't a random error. It is a tool for parties to exonerate themselves. The automotive industry clings to road dust data to protect profits. The construction sector blames wind-carrying emissions from neighboring states. The city government points the finger at farmers burning stubble. In this maze of data, the truth is obscured by political calculations, and no one is held truly accountable for the lungs of 30 million citizens. Instead of tackling emission sources at their root, the government chooses performative solutions. They use water cannons to spray directly onto AQI monitors to artificially clean the area around the sensors, making the reported numbers look lower than reality. Million-dollar smog towers are erected, but experts claim they are as useless as trying to cool a desert with a single electric fan. The indifference is also evident in the financial figures. Since 2019, the government has earmarked $2.3 billion for the National Clean Air Program, yet nearly $1 billion of the allocated funds remains unspent, sitting idle in the treasury. More infuriatingly, 64% of the meager funds actually spent were only used for road sprinkling, a temporary band-aid instead of investing in waste processing technology or transitioning to green transport. Air pollution has evolved into a prank symbol of social injustice. The city elite are spending tens of thousands of dollars to install cutting edification system. Sophisticated Century Street fresh air network integrated directly into their mansion infrastructure. Meanwhile, the poor are left with no shut technological shield for them. There is no barrier against the deadly smart other than the fuel biology of their own body and lungs.